We're gonna get started off by lying down first. So when you come to lie down, you just wanna make sure that you have your strap-like item close to your hands because we're gonna use it to begin with. And we're gonna take a restorative bridge to begin with. Yay, good morning. We're gonna take a restorative bridge. So the block underneath your pelvis, or maybe a blanket that's folded up like a little soft brick. Really nice. Good, and we're gonna play the music like straight away. So yeah, so when you're ready, you can hit play on the music. Good, and as folks continue to filter in, we're just getting started here in a restorative bridge pose with a little something under your pelvis, with the strap kind of close to your hands. All right, good morning, good morning. Right, as you begin to settle yourself in here with the sound of the music, can you allow your breath to become a part of that? Your breath, hey Emily, your breath to become a part of the sound of this morning. Good, beginning in your restorative bridge pose with your hips elevated a bit here. Maybe the soles of your feet are touching down to the floor. Good, and if you have the soles of your feet touching down to the floor, it might be nice to gently pick up the pelvis a tiny little bit and set it back down on the block so that you can get as comfortable as you can in and around your lower back. Yeah. Good, and if you like to extend your legs out long in restorative bridge pose, you're welcome to do that too, just finding a little bit of an openness, like a little bit of a stretch through the area in between your lower ribs and the top of your pelvis, your inner thighs. Good. In today's class, we're going to focus on 3 different meridians. We're going to be focusing in on the liver and the gallbladder meridians, which are traditionally associated with the season that we're in right now. These are meridians that are linked in with organs of detoxification, right? Release, letting go of the stuff that's not so great for us, maybe. The stuff that needs to go. And that's not an easy thing, right? So maybe the lung meridians too, helping us to breathe a little bit more deeply through it all. And the liver and the gallbladder meridians are, they both terminate in the feet. They run up and down the inside and the outside of your legs and through your groin. The gallbladder meridian also kind of goes up into your head. And then our lung meridians are in our arms. And so you might think about stretching those arms out nice and long, maybe wide, maybe they're reaching overhead or out to the sides. Perfect. In this restorative bridge pose, maybe even turning it into like an elevated starfish pose, if that feels okay. Opening up the feet sort of wide. Yeah, reaching the arms out sort of wide. And that's if your hips and shoulders are down with that kind of movement. If they start to get cranky, it's okay to kind of curl back up in some way. And just beginning with a poem by Hafiz, which, oof, this one is like kind of a knife to the heart, you know? It's one of those poems that is so short and so to the point, right? And it goes, what do sad people have in common? It seems they have all built a shrine to the past, and often they go there and do a strange wail and worship. What is the beginning of happiness? It is to stop being so religious like that. Ooh, it is to stop being so religious like that. And settling in here with yourself in this moment. And maybe just for a moment, you kind of acknowledge your own strange wail and your own connection with the past, your own strange worship of the past, whatever it looks like for you. Good. Let's take another 10 deep breaths here in this kind of restorative starfish bridge situation. Yeah, just letting yourself take up space here in whatever state you are in, however you are. Let these breaths be slow. Let them be sort of easy if you can. Good. And just another 2 deep breaths here. Good. And then begin to bring the soles of your feet back down to the floor. Let's press into the feet, lift the hips up, and take that block away. And maybe you want to pause for a moment in an active bridge pose. If you find that you have a lot of like busy energy in your body, a little bit of anxiety coursing through, it's nice to activate and to really use that energy for like the good of your body. Yeah, but then eventually we're going to set ourselves down and pull the knees into the chest just for a moment or two, this act of like snuggling in towards yourself. This little bit of rocking from side to side as if to tell yourself it's okay, it's okay. Wonderful. Right, and then from here, let's extend that right leg out nice and long on the mat, hugging that left knee in towards the chest. As you hug the left knee in towards the chest, circle that ankle around a few times and point and flex that foot. Both of the liver and the gallbladder meridians kind of course through the top of the foot. So you might pay special attention to how it feels when you point the toes. What things feel like towards the inner edge of the foot and the outer edge of the foot. Good. All right, and then we're going to grab a hold of the strap and bring the strap down to the bottom of the foot here. And extend the foot up towards the ceiling. If that right knee feels more comfortable being bent, you could do that too. Here, the leg could be long. And then let's just take like some really slow movement here, rocking that left leg from side to side, getting like a little bit of a stretch through the inside line of the leg as you drop it to the left, and a little bit of a stretch through the outside line of the leg as you drop it across the midline. Good. This is less about like a huge hamstring release, more about waking up those lines of the legs, the inner and outer lines. Good. Good. And those sweeps might become a little bit bigger. Maybe you're taking that left leg nice and long and wide over to the left, holding it for a moment. Good. Maybe as you bring it across the midline, it almost kind of resembles a really big twist. That left arm reaching out to the side, that right leg reaching down and long. Good. And just a few more moments with some kind of movement here, with some kind of sweeping movement. Good. What is your jaw doing as you move? What are your eyes doing? So our gallbladder meridian runs right around our eye. Sometimes when we get headaches, you know, we can press into those points and it can help our headaches to go away. Good. And so taking a few moments here to just soften the face as you move your left leg from side to side. Nice, and then we're going to take that left ankle and cross it over the right knee. And you can set that right foot down on the floor for your figure four. If you want to hug that left lower leg in towards yourself, you're welcome to do that here too. All right, so a few moments like this. We're not going to stay forever and ever. You can find stillness if some stillness is what you need. Or maybe you want to rock a little bit from side to side. Another thought is extending that right leg out long on the mat, kind of taking this pigeon pose, but on your back. Good, and then let's pull both of the knees in towards the chest, and we're going to drop the knees on over to the right, coming into your spinal twist. And as you find your spinal twist, really take notice of what's happening in your lower back. If things are feeling kind of wonky there, place something in between your knees, maybe that blanket you have nearby, maybe a block. And let's stretch those arms out nice and long and wide if that works for your shoulders and neck. Good, we'll stay here for just a couple minutes. Good, and I've been taking some classes with my own teacher, and she said something the other day, like, can you just breathe into your body just as it is today, just as it shows up on your mat today, whether it's bigger or smaller, crankier, happier, you know, no matter what's going on, can you just breathe anyway? Can you love your body anyway? Good. Let's take 7 more breaths here. Good, and let's bring ourselves back through to the center. If you have that strap still looped around your left foot, go ahead and grab a hold of it. Let's extend those legs out nice and long on the mat. And reach the arms up and overhead, holding the strap with your hands. Good, you might have a really wide grip on the strap, or maybe your hands kind of snuggle close together. And we're gonna slide the heels over to the left here. And then scoot the upper body in that direction too. And it might feel nice to cross that left ankle over the right ankle to create a little bit more steadiness and groundedness through the right side of the body. Good, let's stay here for a couple of minutes too. Good, take notice of how things feel the inside edge of your ribs on the right side, so closest to the midline of the body. You take notice of the right side of your belly, the inner edge of your right hip, and then just down the length of that right leg. Good. Take notice of your right underarm, your shoulder, biceps, triceps, and elbow. Good. And then your forearm, wrist, and hand. And you can keep the grip on the strap if you want to, or you might consider loosening the hands here and just kind of letting it go. Really softening down and into the floor. Good, about 5 more deep breaths here. Perfect. And now just bring yourself back through to the center. And there are a couple of options here. I think I want to cross my arms over my chest after all that shoulder action and take constructive rest with the knees dropping together, the soles of the feet on the floor. You might prefer an active bridge pose. Or maybe you want to take a recline bound angle. That's another nice thought here too. Good. We'll just take maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 breaths here in the middle. Good, and then let's begin to find the strap again. Right, and actually, before we do that, let's pull the right knee in towards the chest and circle that right ankle around a bunch of times. So maybe 5 times in each direction. Can you really notice how things feel on the top of the foot, the front of the ankle, along your shin? How does your knee feel this morning? Great. Right, and now let's take that strap around the bottom of the right foot and send it up towards the ceiling. You can keep that left knee bent with the sole on the floor, or if you want to extend that left leg out long, that's a thought. And let's start with that really super gentle, easygoing rocking motion of that right leg. So yeah, we're feeling the hamstrings, we're feeling the back of the leg, but let's also focus in on the outer edge of the leg and the inside line. Good. What the foot does is you move your leg gently from side to side. Hey, are you breathing deeply? Good. What's your jaw doing? What are your eyes doing? Might be nice to rock your head along with your leg. And start to make those sweeps a little bit bigger, perhaps. Dropping that leg over the midline. And then over to the right. Okay, and move slowly. So this never wants to feel like too extreme. Okay, we always want to keep like an easygoing feel with these movements. Okay, it doesn't have to hurt or be intense to be effective, right? Great, a little bit more time with this. Good, another breath or two. Right, and then from here, we're gonna come back through to the center, place the sole of the left foot on the floor and cross the right ankle over the left knee for your figure 4. This is a nice place to stay with that left foot grounded. Maybe you wanna hug the left thigh in towards the chest. Okay, there could be stillness here. There could be some rocking movement. Yeah, and maybe the possibility too of grabbing a hold of that right lower leg and extending the left leg out long, finding that pigeon just on your back. A little bit of pressure off of the knee here. Good. And then let's curl up into a little ball, knees into the chest. You might pick up your head and draw it in towards your knees. Right, and then we'll set the soles of the feet back down on the floor. Pick up the hips and scoot them over to the right. Let's find the twist here. Good. What does your twist need? Does it need a little bit of blanket support in between the knees or a little something underneath your right shoulder? Remember that none of this has to be exact. Maybe we can stop being so religious about our practice, you know, like just showing up as we are and letting things unroll as they need to. Our body is different from day to day. Our experience is different from day to day. Good. What will it take to find some acceptance for what's going on right now? Good. If it's okay in your shoulders, your neck, your back, to stretch your arms out nice and long and wide to the sides. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Take up space. Good. Another 7 or 8 deep breaths. Perfect. And as you come back through to the center, just take a moment here. It might mean that you stretch your legs out long right away. Maybe you want to pull the knees in towards the chest. That's fine too. Maybe you're readjusting your shoulders and your pelvis so that they're kind of in line with each other on the mat. And we'll stretch those arms overhead again, maybe using that strap one more time. Okay, eventually we'll extend those legs out nice and long too, and just find this big full body stretch. It might feel nice to super flex the feet. Reach those toes up towards your nose. Good, and then point those toes all the way. And then let's slide those heels on over to the right. Good, as you slide the heels to the right, the upper body also moves in that direction. Maybe the right ankle crosses over the left for a little bit more steadiness. Good, let's stay here for a little while. You notice your left eyebrow, left side of your jaw and ear, left side of your head. Good, and then the left arm, shoulder, side of the chest. Good, and take notice of the left side of your belly here, and down the inside and the outside line of that left leg. Just allowing the softness. Maybe releasing your hands from the strap if that feels like the right thing to do right now. Good. One more deep breath here. Alrighty, and let's bring ourselves back through to the center and just do something else with the arms. So maybe you're taking them underneath your lower back, letting your elbows splay out to the sides. That can be kind of nice. Maybe you want to cross the arms over your chest again if you did that before, the other arm on top. Good. You might rock your upper body side to side a little bit here. And your legs can be any way they need to be. So out long, maybe bound angles, soles of the feet together, knees wide. Let's take 5 deep breaths. Good, and go ahead and just release the arms if they're hugged across you. We're gonna make our way up into a seated position, and there's really no wrong way to go about doing it. You might roll over to your side and spend a moment curled up in fetal position, or if you want a little bit of action, you might pull the knees into the chest and rock along your spine a few times. Good, if you're rocking along your spine, you might catch yourself in a little bit of a boat pose. And strengthening the belly a little bit. Feel your lower ribs lift up and away from the top of the pelvis. Good, but eventually we'll all come to sit up. And once we get there, it's gonna be time for a butterfly pose. So in this butterfly pose, you might want some support. You might want to stack some pillows under your knees. For me, my outer ankles always feel a little funky here, so taking a little something underneath the feet can be really nice, support and padding. And then let's just take the hands and massage the tops of our feet for a moment or two. So as we're massaging, thinking about really focusing in on the line that goes from the space in between the big toe and the second toe up the foot into the ankle. And then also this line that kind of goes down in between the little toe and the fourth toe and up into the ankle. These are where the liver and gallbladder meridians terminate in the feet. So just finding this bit of massage. And you don't have to be exact, right? Like if you just squeeze anywhere on the top of the foot, you're bound to activate these, the flow of energy through these meridians a little bit more. And so just a few moments here. Right, and then we're gonna take our time to fold into this. So allowing the head to sort of drop down. Your feet can slide away from you if that makes more sense in your hips. Or if you like that really big groin stretch or inner thigh stretch, you can keep the heels really close to you, and that's fine too. So we're all gifted with a different set of hips. Do what works in your body this morning. Good. Breathing deeply here, settling in. Good. And I just wanted to read you a little something I saw this morning from an astrologer that I love to follow. Her name is Heidi Rose Robbins. And she writes a little moon note every day. And these moon notes are just so wonderful. She's so reliable too. I wonder what sign she is. She puts these out every day without fail. And so today she writes, the moon moves into Aries at 6:36 a.m. Pacific time today. In Denise Levertov's poem Beginners, a very Aries title, her last two lines are, so much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud. I love so much is in bud. And today I want to simply ask you, what is in bud in you? What still wants to complete its gesture? What is ripe to unfold, unfurl, open? What quality is present in you but wants to strengthen? What is budding, beginning, yearning to bloom? And what will be required of you to encourage the unfolding? Aries is bold and loves to act. What strengthening, budding step might you take today? Good, why don't we set in here for another minute or so. And just a thought, you might take some slight twists, one of your hands down onto your foot, the other hand reaching up. And encouraging some more space along the arm, through the side body. Good, everybody, just a few more big breaths. Good, and let's start to sit up here. Good, and then we're gonna extend those legs out long just for a moment, or really arrange them any other way that makes sense to you. Let's pull our hair. Let's give ourselves a little tug this morning. Gallbladder meridians are kind of like located around the sides of our head, all around our ears. We're gonna pull our own hair and ears for a bit. And again, don't worry about being exact. Just grab a hold of your hair at the roots if you want to, or if you're, if you don't got a lot of hair, if it's not so long, you might massage the sides of your head. Anything to kind of wake up these areas. So pulling in the way that feels right. Right. Applying a little bit of pressure. Don't go too crazy, but just a little something to release tension out of the scalp. It is so funny to me how the gallbladder meridian, this organ of processing and detoxification, starts up in your head. Begins with our thoughts, I think, in a lot of ways. Good. And so maybe just another minute or so of your nice little scalp massage of your own. A little hair pulling, a little ear pulling, just giving yourself that hands-on time. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but maybe don't neglect your eyebrows either. That meridian, the gallbladder meridian, has points all around your eyes. Okay, so that little eyebrow massage might be nice. Good. Yeah, a couple more breaths. Right, wonderful. Okay, so from here, let's cross at the ankles and let's make our way either onto hands and knees or downward facing dog, or maybe you just want to come into a seated position for a moment. If you come into your downward facing dog, it might feel really nice to just stretch those hips up and back, to lift up onto the toes and drop your heels over to one side, to lift back up onto the toes and then drop your heels over to the other side to get that nice stretch through the sides of the body. Good. If you're on hands and knees, you know what to do. Hands and knees is such a personal practice, right? You move your spine the way you need to move it. You move your hips and shoulders the way they're asking to be moved. If you've chosen stillness, seated pose, just really focused in on your breath. There's always the next breath. It just comes. We don't have to force it. It just arrives. Nice, everybody. Good. And if you are on hands and knees or in downward facing dog, extend that right leg out nice and long behind you. Good. And then we're going to step that right foot to the outside of the right hand. We haven't done one of these in like forever. But this is a really nice one to get into these particular meridians. Might be a little hard to see from where I am. But there are so many options for how you take this lizard pose. You could have that left knee down on the floor or a blanket. If that left hip is feeling a little tricky, pick up the knee, tuck the toes underneath, be a little strong here. Good, and that right knee could be like right above the ankle, or you could drop it out to the side too. That's a super nice way to get into both the inside and the outside line of the leg. And I have my block leg item up here too because it's helping me to feel a little bit more supported in the upper body. But you're always welcome to fold down into this as well. Okay, just taking your time. Yeah, and again, we are all gifted with a different set of hips, different knees and low backs. So mine's gonna look different from yours. There's no wrong answer here. This is just exploration. Okay, maybe we'll stay for another minute or so. Good, yeah, 3 more breaths or so. If you want to add in that little bit of a twist, you're welcome to right hand to the right knee, or maybe even reaching back. Ooh, or even one of these guys, bending that left knee, reaching back for your left foot with your right hand. Right, but eventually, oh my God, we're gonna extract ourselves from this thing. Woo, and step that left knee or right knee back, sorry. And your choice, maybe it's a puppy pose here with your arms out long. Maybe you want to take some time in a child's pose. No wrong answer, only what you need. Spend about 10 breaths or so. Good, and then from your puppy, if you're in it, shift yourself back, hips to the heels. Good, if you're in your child's pose, just come to sit up. And we're all gonna come to sit on the heels. If sitting on the heels doesn't quite work in your ankles, then just stand up on the knees. That might feel a little bit better. And we're gonna take a bit of an ankle stretch here, everybody's favorite. So right here might be just the thing. Okay, allowing your hips to be up above your heels. Good, if you want to lift up your knees and slide something underneath them, you're welcome to do that. Or maybe there's a balance in this for you, lifting the knees up very high and holding your hands on your back. Good, stay here for a few moments. All right, let's set those knees back down if they're lifted. And we're gonna come on out of this. Stretch back into downward dog or onto hands and knees. No more, Tallulah, that's enough. Good, and as you find your down dog or your hands and knees, a little bit of wiggling around, a little bit of movement that makes sense to you. Good, and then we'll extend the left leg out nice and long behind you, and we're just gonna take that lizard on the other side. Okay, maybe it looks really, really wonderful. Maybe it's like just an easing into something very creaky this morning. Good. It's a bit of time to set yourself up. That right knee could be down, or maybe it's lifted up. Maybe that left foot is really plugged into the floor, or maybe that left knee drops way out to the side. Great, if you want to keep your chest lifted, that's a thought, but settling down could also be nice. Good, deep breaths here. Great, take notice how things are feeling. If a twist seems like a nice idea, you might take yourself into that, bringing your left hand up under your left knee, or reaching it up towards the ceiling, or maybe even reaching back for your right foot with your left hand. All right, and then let's come on out of this one. Let's shift ourselves back. Oh my goodness, shake things out. Great, and a thought here is to maybe throw in a toe squat if you're feeling it. I don't know if anybody actually ever voluntarily wants to do a toe squat, but I'm putting it out there as an option. You might tuck your toes underneath. You might place your knees on something as you tuck your toes underneath. Yeah. If you want to take the ankle stretch again, you're welcome to do that. Or another nice option is to just kind of sit up and rub your ankles. Just massage your own feet and ankles. Hey, maybe a minute or so here. Wonderful. Let's come on out of this. Let's relieve ourselves of that intensity if you are experiencing that intensity. And we're just going to make our way now into, oh boy, what time is it? Oh, such a bummer. Why don't we take a wide angle with the legs? Let's take this one here. An alternative is butterfly pose if taking that wide angle doesn't feel right. But you might also decide to bring like blankets or pillows underneath your knees to kind of ease up on some of that intensity. All right, and let's just take a little rock from side to side here. As you rock over to the left, take your right hand up and give yourself like a side body rub. That little bit of like, oh, just pressure on the muscles on the front and back side of your body. Good, and as you rock yourself over to the right, same thing, that left hand moves up and down, side of your body. Good, and you might take this, you know, in a little bit quicker movements. You might extend the arm out past your head, that's a thought too. Maybe you want to hold still in one place, or maybe the movement is everything today. Who knows? What do you need? All right, just a few more breaths. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up to the center and a little fold in. Just a little something, not for too long, just for a few breaths. All right, and then let's bring ourselves up to a seat again. We're gonna fold our legs in front of us and just roll out and onto our bellies. Good, as you roll out and onto your belly and set yourself down, take your arms out nice and wide, your palms down to the floor. Shake your hips out a little bit here. And make it like a big shake. Right, like you're trying to shake the muscle from the bone a little bit. And then eventually find some stillness. Your head is turned so that one side is down perhaps. And just feel the fingertips on the floor. The edge of the thumb. The heels of the hands. And you're welcome, if it makes sense to you, to take a shoulder stretch here, to take an arm stretch. So if you wanted to do that, one of your arms would stay extended long and you roll over to that same side, pull the knees in towards your chest, and just find that nice big stretch down the arm, in the shoulder. Good. If you're taking that arm stretch, make your way over to the other side. Good. Another breath or two like this. And then we're just going to choose a final pose. So it might be you having to lie down on your belly, with your arms alongside you, backs of the hands on the floor, head turned to the side. You might want to roll over onto your back and take Shavasana. That's always kind of nice as well. If you want to take any other pose, of course you're welcome to. There's no wrong way to do it. Maybe curling up into a ball on your side. Legs up your couch or the wall. Good. Taking time just to find stillness, to settle, breathe. So Hafiz wrote in the 14th century, so this is a message as old as forever, right? What do sad people have in common? It seems they have all built a shrine to the past, and often they go there and do a strange wail and worship. What is the beginning of happiness? It is to stop being so religious like that. See if your breath can offer you a little bit more freedom, a little bit more lightness in the body. Notice the buzzing and the motion of your mind. What is it to be here today? Rather than weep over what has left us, what has fallen, the petals that have dropped, can we notice what is budding within us? What is ripe to be nourished? Deep breaths into this body of yours, into this life of yours. And when you feel ready to move again, Go ahead, do the thing. Make your movements. Wiggle around. All the time you need to wake yourself up, and maybe we'll come together to sit just for a moment at the end of the practice. And I'm thinking maybe of Hakini Mudra this morning. Hakini Mudra, which is just you touching all of your finger pads together. This mudra of focus, this mudra of like really acknowledging what's happening right now and knowing what to do moving forward. Right? This is said to provide us a little bit of insight into what we need to be doing, what our actions should be. It's also a mudra of remembrance, interestingly enough. They say if you've lost something, don't know where it is, practice this mudra and it might come to you. So a moment here with ourselves, with our hands in this position, with our breath. This mudra is kind of said to be like in our aha mudra, aha moment. And when I read that poem by Hafiz, I also had that aha moment, like, oh, stop being so religious like that. And allowing yourself a deep breath in here. And with a deep breath out, bring the palms together. And let's just cross the hands on the heart, drop the head down, honoring your practice and honoring each other too. Oh, thanks for coming this morning, everybody. Yay. I